Welcome to Goddess Behavior, the podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era. This is Goddess Behavior. All right.
Okay. Well, so I think we're going to stay with the water, huh?
Yeah, I mean, last week was really fun for us. So
yeah, we loved that
episode. We're kind of
episode.
happy to stay here in the water.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's summertime. We're staying here for a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about beautiful things that can drown you.
Yeah. So our sirens and mermaids and sea creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Creatures of the deep.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we talked about water signs and how humans have long associated water with emotion, intuition, memory, and the unconscious.
Yeah.
So water is where we place things that we can't quite explain and the parts of ourselves that are hidden beneath the surface. And that raises a bigger question. If we've always believed that water holds the unknown, what exactly did we imagine was living down there? Across nearly every culture, people filled the depths with stories. Mermaids, sirens, selkies, sea serpents, spirits, monsters. Some were beautiful enough to lure sailors off course. Others represented the dangers of storms, shipwrecks, or the simple fact that for most of human history, the ocean is almost entirely unexplored. The sea was both a source of life and one of humanity's greatest fears.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's this fear of the unknown. So we've seen this a couple of times now.
Yeah.
Appalachia, Black Forest.
Yeah, anything that is not easily knowable.
Right. I mean, even the sky had this sense of deep unknown.
Yeah.
The sea fed civilizations, connected continents, and made exploration possible. But it could also swallow ships without warning, hide predators beneath the waves, and stretch endlessly beyond the horizon. Long before we understood tides, currents, or the deep ocean, mythology stepped in to explain what science couldn't. Today's episode isn't only about mermaids. It's about why humans have always looked into the water and imagined something looking back.
Yes.
So it's this mystery, and it's this sense of trying to come to terms with it, but also to understand.
Understand as best as we can, right? And like we said, we've seen this in more than one place, right? And it goes back to this idea of liminal spaces.
Yeah.
Just keeps coming back around. I think it's the mystery of it all,
And sort of that the shoreline is like that really.
Yeah, for the sea is what it is.
It's like that in between liminal
for sure
space. Yeah.
So one thing you'll notice over and over in mythology is that the most magical things don't happen in an ordinary place. They happen at the edges. Just like we talked about in our water sign episode, the beach isn't quite land and it isn't quite sea. It's in between. Yeah. And the mythology loves the in between.
Totally.
Like I said, they're liminal spaces, places of transition where the normal rules don't quite apply. They're thresholds. And in mythology, thresholds are where the transformations happen. Think about how many stories begin and end at the water's edge. This is where mermaids rise from the waves to meet humans. It's where selkies leave the ocean, shed their seal skin, and walk on land. And it's where sailors encounter creatures that challenge everything they think they know about the world.
I mean, for me too, I also think of, like, for anyone who has seen Mulan, right?
Yes.
It's the song Reflection.
Ooh,
when she's sort of standing over the water and like looking at herself reflected in the water.
I didn't even think of that.
And really kind of like struggling with who she is and what she wants to do. And she comes out of that like really brave and like ready to fight that war for her dad, right?
Wow, I didn't even think of that. That's a good one.
Well, no, I just, it like, as we have talked about this a little bit, I was like, oh, that's that whole song.
Totally.
And it's also her whole like big
arc
transformation moment. So,
where she kind of decides to make the change, right?
Yeah. And how she's not gonna conform to what society expects of her.
Yeah, and she turns into what's needed, not necessarily what she's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So again, as we're seeing these in between spaces as these places of great transformation.
Yeah, for sure.
And in many cultures, it's even where the boundary between the living and the dead become thinner because water is often imagined as the passage to the afterlife,
Yep.
making the shoreline a place where souls depart or sometimes return.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's like it could be transformation, like what we were saying with Mulan, or
Yeah.
it's a transformation maybe between stages of life.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking like river Styx or
Yeah.
something to that effect.
Or like, I mean, how people want their ashes thrown into the water or
Yeah,
like just things like that. How
yeah.
it's,
There's something deeply symbolic about standing on a beach. You can see one way and see something familiar, solid ground beneath your feet. Looking the other way, you're staring into an endless horizon where you can't see what's beneath the surface. That's why beaches appear in mythology. They're physical reminders that the known world ends somewhere, and just beyond it lies mystery. So it makes perfect sense that if humans were going to imagine extraordinary beings, that they'd place them right there at the edge of the world that they can understand.
so before we meet sirens, selkies, or mermaids, as we know them today, we have to travel back over 2,000 years.
Mhm.
So, one of the oldest known water goddesses associated with a fish tailed
Yeah.
form is Atargatis,
Okay.
a major deity worshipped in ancient Syria as early as the first millennium BCE.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, really old.
Really old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was the goddess of fertility, protection, water, abundance, not danger. Her temples stood centuries before legends we will be discussing, later in this
Yeah.
episode. And long before these water creatures became seductive, they were sacred. Like she was
Yeah.
worshipped.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting thing because again, it's women getting twisted around.
Yeah.
A misunderstood being
Or like
in a
women
way
taking the blame maybe
for things that we can't
things that
understand.
were not we didn't
Explainable.
yeah.
Yeah.
That they couldn't make sense of.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, honestly, this left us asking, when did these sacred water goddesses then turn into something that was blamed
Yeah.
and is scary and dangerous temptresses,
Yeah, because it's not like, oh, they just always were.
Right.
They weren't.
They actually weren't.
Yeah.
So we know about Atargatis because of her temples were built for her.
Right.
And so I think that it's interesting how all of a sudden we became
it's funny how we see things shift over time and how perspectives on either men and women or age or body types even too.
Yeah.
Like if you look at from that era, like female form, it's like very curvaceous and like, so different than like our 90s, rail thin models, right? So you have we get such a varied thing over history where we have evolution, but always in not always to our benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, or like how we're viewed or what is valued by society at some time. That I think that's just it shows up in those ways.
So, before we go any further, we have to clear up one of mythology's biggest misconceptions. The original Greek sirens were not mermaids.
No, they didn't even have fishtails.
Nope. In the earliest Greek art and literature, sirens were depicted as bird women.
Which
so
is hard to picture, but
it is. And they were creatures with the body of a bird and the head or sometimes the upper body of a woman. And they lived on rocky islands where the wreckages of ships and bones of sailors would serve as warnings to anyone who came too close. So where did we get mermaids from that? Like how did sirens come from these bird women, right?
Over the centuries, especially during the Middle Ages, the imagery of sirens and mermaids gradually blended together. So both were associated with the sea, both were seen as dangerous female figures, and eventually the fish-tailed mermaid became the image most people picture when they hear the word siren. But in Greek mythology, they were separate creatures.
Yeah, so I think this is where we have a folklore mixed in with mythology situation. Like as time went on, you probably had both stories, and because they were so similar, you have the name getting mixed up with the creature.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also wondering if the siren was originally half bird because that's probably what they could see more of. I mean,
True.
it's Greece.
Yeah.
So on these islands, I'm sure there were, like, I don't want to say seagulls, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
a very common thing that you
Yeah,
see on the
true.
water's edge.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if they saw those like scavenger-esque birds and were like,
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be.
I don't know.
What's even more interesting is how sirens are killed. Modern retellings often make it about an irresistible beauty or seduction, but that's only part of the story. Their greatest weapon wasn't their appearance, it was their song.
Their
So then again,
voice.
maybe that's
Mhm.
where the bird part comes in.
Yeah.
According to Homer in the Odyssey, the sirens promised knowledge. They claimed they knew everything that had happened in the Trojan War and everything that would happen in the future. So they offered answers, understanding, the chance to hear what no one else could. That's what made them so dangerous. Knowledge. Women
Yeah.
with knowledge.
Yes.
Again, every sailor heard something slightly different, whatever would be impossible for them to ignore. Maybe it was glory, maybe it was just reassurance, or maybe it was the answer to the question that they had been carrying their whole life. So Odysseus didn't survive the sirens because he was stronger than them, but that he figured out a way to get around their power.
Yeah. Their temptation, if you
Right.
will. Mm-hmm.
He ordered his crew to plug their ears with beeswax, had himself tied to the mast so that he could listen without acting on that temptation.
Yeah.
So he kind of outsmarted them, if you will.
Yeah.
The myth isn't really warning us about beautiful women. It's warning us about believing every voice that tells us exactly what we want to hear.
And the temptation that comes with always seeking that validation,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. And even knowledge in general, right? So, like, you got to be careful what you ask, right? Or what you want to know.
Think Odin,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
exactly.
you could lose a body part.
Because as much as we love to gather our information,
Yep.
sometimes knowing things is not helpful in like a situation where like knowing the future or,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I love information, sometimes knowing like or thinking about knowing something ahead of time is not always positive.
It can put you in a more pessimistic state.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or just make you make decisions that maybe you wouldn't normally because you think you know the outcome of something. And in a place like ancient Greece, it's probably not a good place to be taking risks.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe the most dangerous temptation isn't lust. Maybe it's validation, which like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like everyone apply that to your dating lives. Okay. The promise that someone or something finally understands you completely.
And put up with your shit.
The certainty that all your questions can be answered if you come just a little closer. The sirens don't force anyone into the sea. They simply make the impossible feel irresistible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's more timeless than any kind of that's why these stories have stayed. It's timeless. Like that will never change, like this temptation of wanting this validation.
Yeah. And needing that external
Somebody else saying
validation.
You're worth my time, essentially. Yeah. Yikes.
Oh
no. Okay.
Another sea creature, if you will, that we see in so many places around the world are mermaids.
Yeah, and they pop up everywhere. And I think it's just so interesting how we kind of, no matter where you're from, there's a story that relates to this. Yeah. And I mean, where you're from in the sense of you're on the ocean. You're not going to have a mermaid story necessarily in the middle of a continent.
Yeah.
But just like you wouldn't have a mountain story on the ocean necessarily either.
And every country, for the most part, has a shoreline. So,
True.
So a lot of these countries have experienced this type of creature. So we had a hard time narrowing it down here as far as like which ones to cover here.
Yeah.
But I mean, this first one we've already talked about a little bit. So Melusine from Our Monstrous or Misunderstood is from French folklore. And unlike the Greek sirens, Melusine isn't a temptress. She's often portrayed as a serpent or this dragon-tailed woman and is associated with ancestry, transformation, and the power of keeping one's true nature hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've listened to our Monstrous or Misunderstood,
Yeah.
you know a little about her story and how she would only transform on a certain day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the one day she has to be left alone.
Yep.
Yeah, when she isn't, she turns into this monster, this
Mm-hmm.
sea monster, if you will, and freaks everybody
Yeah,
out and
pretty
runs away
much.
back to the ocean. I mean, in a way, it really is about those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And how like her trust is broken. She feels betrayed,
Mhm.
and she goes back to the sea, right?
Right.
And is like, well, I can't. If you won't respect me enough to
Yeah.
follow my boundaries, I'm gonna stay in the sea now.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. No, and I think she's somebody who has stuck in our heads from that episode for sure.
Yeah. It's again just how these female characters sort of get
Yeah.
mislabeled or like misunderstood,
Yeah.
right? Just
Mhm.
because she actually brought great prosperity to the kingdom that she was in.
Yeah, true.
And then when she left, it fell to disrepair.
Right.
So it's again something where like,
Yeah, because she's not fully understandable, she's being,
She's-
demonized when
yeah,
she's really doing a lot of good, that now they won't reap those benefits because they couldn't. You can't choose what parts of her to love, okay?
Yeah. yeah. I mean, that's definitely what you see with Melusine.
Yeah. Same could be said about the Selkies. If mermaids represent the mystery of the sea, then Selkies represent the heartbreak of belonging to two worlds. We brought up Selkies in our Folklore and Evermore episode.
Yeah.
But we'll go into a little more detail today. Found throughout Scottish and Irish folklore, Selkies are seals that can shed their skin and become human on land. Most stories begin the same way. A fisherman discovers a Selkie's seal skin, hides it, and because she can't return to the sea without it, she's forced to stay on land. She usually gets married to them, has children with them, and builds a life. But it's never truly her choice. Eventually, she finds her hidden skin, and when she does not hesitate. She returns to the ocean, often leaving behind the family she loved, because the sea is where she truly belongs. At heart, this isn't a story about magic. It's a story about autonomy. The stolen sealskin represents stolen freedom, and every version asks the same question. Can you ever truly belong somewhere if you weren't free to choose it? Selkie stories remind us that love isn't the same as possession. Sometimes the deepest kind of love is letting someone remain who they were always meant to be, even if it means watching them return to the sea. This is kind of where it becomes like, oh, I feel bad for this poor girl didn't get any say. Like, she had to become this whole other thing that maybe she wanted to try out, and now she doesn't even get to choose to stay. She gets forced into, and then of course she's going to flee at her first chance to go back, right? It's crossing a boundary. It's the same as Melusine. They're not, I don't know if, yeah, they're not forced in any way, but then at the same time, at a certain point, you just kind of, I guess that's my point.
It's really just kind of folklore's way of articulating the reality of arranged or like a coerced
marriage. I think so too. Yeah. A marriage
and a woman
that you might
who
not
is literally not herself on land.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't even have a say over herself.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Sad. So staying in that region, we have the Kelpies.
And the Kelpies are one of Scotland's most infamous water spirits, and at first glance, a Kelpie appears as a magnificent black or white horse standing alone beside a river or loch. It's beautiful, calm, and almost inviting. I just pictured Elsa and her frozen horse from the second movie. Oh, I like this.
Yep.
Okay. And it's beautiful, calm, and almost inviting. The danger comes when someone climbs onto its Elsa. Oh my gosh.
This did not talk about Kelpies.
This did not hit me until
just now.
Literally
good.
just now.
Perfect. Save it for the podcast.
Okay. Anyway. The danger comes when someone climbs onto its back. Its skin becomes impossibly sticky, trapping the rider as the Kelpie gallops into the water, dragging them beneath the surface to drown.
Mm-hmm.
And in some stories, Kelpies can also take human form, often appearing as a handsome stranger whose identity is revealed by water weeds tangled in his hair.
Mm.
A guy.
Sure.
It's a male figure this time.
It's a handsome man.
And like so many water myths, the Kelpie isn't just a monster, it's a warning. And it teaches children not to approach unfamiliar animals, not to play too close to the deep water, and to respect places that can turn deadly in an instant. The Kelpie reminds us that danger doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks beautiful. Sometimes it looks harmless. And in folklore, the things that seem the most inviting are often the ones demanding the greatest caution.
Yeah.
I literally am stuck on this Elsa getting on the ice horse. And it drags her like deep into that like ice cave situation where she literally almost doesn't make it out.
So my mind went to a different place, but it's because I had heard that. Have you heard the theories about the Denver airport?
No.
Oh, that's the whole thing in itself. But there's like a lot of conspiracies about underneath the Denver airport. There's like a whole city of like secret things happening under there, kind of like an Area 51, but like nobody knows about it.
Okay.
And in front of the Denver airport, if you've ever been, are these giant blue horses, like people think are Broncos, but they like say they're Kelpies. Like that's where that comes. Like,
wow.
So again, dragging people under. Like it's the same like idea.
What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a conspiracy theory, but what I thought of was that our brains went to two different places.
Yeah.
But
leave it to mine to go to Disney.
The only other time I've seen a Kelpie is
I mean, we know they have wild horses.
Depictions of it is that, and when I was in Scotland.
Yeah. The giant horses.
Because they do have big giant horse statues, Kelpies.
Yeah.
So, which is cool.
Pretty.
Yeah. Also scary.
But also probably meant to be ominous.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Right.
It's interesting to pick a horse since it's not a sea creature.
I know. Yeah, and maybe that's why it is a horse. It's because you're meant to trust it.
It's meant to be something that you're not.
Like, oh, wow, why are you here?
Yeah.
And then you find out.
Yeah.
This was a mistake.
Yeah. Fair enough. So our next mermaid, if you will, are the Marrows from Ireland. Marrows are merfolk who can travel freely between the sea and the land thanks to a magical cap. As long as they wear it, they can return to the ocean wherever they choose and whenever they choose. Female Marrows are often described as strikingly beautiful and sometimes fall in love with human men. Sounds like the other way around, but sure.
Yeah.
We'll keep that the story. But like the Selkie stories, that freedom can be taken away. If someone steals or hides the Marrow's magical cap, she's trapped on land and unable to return to the sea.
How are they getting this cap?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just picturing like a beanie that they're snatching off.
Oh, I'm literally picturing like a swimmer's cap. Like,
sure,
like
that makes more sense.
And
yeah.
then I'm like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
How are you taking that off?
That's why I'm thinking beanie, because it's easier to snatch.
Yeah, true.
It's a familiar pattern in Celtic folklore. Love complicated by captivity. Interesting.
Why? This again.
I know why. I don't like it.
Stop holding creatures captive.
Yeah, stop making women fall in love with you. It's very toxic. I don't like it.
It is, yeah.
Unlike the Greek Sirens, Marrows aren't usually trying to lure people to their deaths. Their stories are quieter and more bittersweet, centered around an impossible relationship between people who belong to different worlds. Marrow's stories remind us that sometimes the greatest longing isn't for the other person, but it's for home. Oh, that's so sad. Their stories are about divided identities. They're about loving where you are while still feeling the pull to go back to where you came from. And maybe that's why they continue to resonate, because there are so many of us who know what it feels like to be, have our heart somewhere else.
Yeah, or like feel misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's relatable in a different way, but it's
Yeah,
still relatable. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so if you're looking for the closest thing to Greek sirens outside of Greece, it's probably the Lorelei.
Which I love.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So, according to German folklore, Lorelei is a beautiful woman who sits atop a steep cliff overlooking the Rhine River. As she combs her long golden hair, she sings a haunting song that captures the attention of passing sailors. Mesmerized, they stop watching the river, and that's when disaster strikes. Their boats crash into the rocky cliffs below. Whether Lorelei is meant to be a supernatural being, a wronged woman, or simply a personification of one of the Rhine's most dangerous stretches depends on the version of the story. But the lesson remains the same. Sometimes the greatest danger isn't the rocks themselves, it's losing sight of what's right in front of you. Like the Greek sirens, Lorelei reminds us that temptation doesn't always pull us toward something evil. Sometimes it simply distracts us long enough for us to steer ourselves into danger.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a little bit of like blaming it on the mermaid. It's not all the mermaid's fault. You fell for it.
Yeah, like you don't have to look. You don't even have to listen.
No, exactly.
You can keep going about your business.
I mean, I just think about like Peter Pan's mermaids who are like so rude to Wendy. Not that I'm a Wendy fan, but like I just think about how they were like just so rude to her. It's like, and she didn't listen. And I'm like, that's what you would do.
Right. That's what a girl would do. But,
Facts.
fair
enough.
Sailors.
Also, little anecdote from my trip to the Keys. There is a hotel called the Lorelei in Key Largo, and we passed by it on our way down there, and I was like, oh, that's so funny. Like, that would be a perfect little thing to add to our episode.
Yeah.
And it's a really cute little, like, very Keys, low-key hotel, but it's very, like, classic Florida Keys.
And you want to think that they know, too.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Mermaid,
and
obviously.
This is such a classic mermaid that it makes sense that that's why they called it that.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not Ariel.
Truly.
You know?
And I immediately go to Lorelei Gilmore, and I think about her name being like this dangerous beauty.
Oh, makes so much sense.
Makes so much sense. Yeah.
I love that. Also love that Emily came up with that.
Yeah. Without ever even really getting to know her daughter's personality first. Yeah.
She kind of just knew.
Well, there you go. As moms do.
She's an icon. Slavic folklore gives us one of the most haunting water spirits, the Rasulka. Rasulki are often described as water spirits of young women who died in or near the water, sometimes through betrayal, heartbreak, or tragedy. Rather than finding peace, they are said to linger in rivers and lakes, where they sing, dance, and appear as beautiful women to anyone who wanders too close. Depending on the region, the Rasulka might lure people into the water, drown them, or simply haunt the places where the boundary between life and death feels thin. So maybe it's just the shoreline that they're haunting. Unlike the Greek sirens, Rasulki aren't born monsters. They become them through suffering. Rasulki remind us that some myths aren't just about being evil, but unresolved grief.
So someone
very folklore-y.
Being stuck in that sort of liminal transitional space.
Yeah, limbo almost, yeah. Their stories transform pain into something supernatural, reflecting the fear that wounds left unhealed don't simply disappear. Sometimes they wait beneath the surface until someone comes too close.
Yeah. So I love this imagery because I'm picturing...
They're super spooky. I like them, though. They're good.
Like Russia, right? Like you picture like what it's like
Romania.
if they're by water.
Yeah.
And it's icy. So obviously it's very dangerous.
Cold and foggy.
The majority of the year. Like you might get, what, a week?
Oh,
you're not going to get a lot of like favorable coastlines
for sure.
There.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the waters were really dangerous and they probably really did need to warn people to not get too close.
Yeah, or like frozen lakes, crossing over those. You know, I could see there being a lot of like...
Thin ice.
Yep, exactly. It's a whole new meaning to thin ice.
Truly. Japanese folklore gives us a very different kind of sea creature, the Ningyo. Despite often being translated as Mermaid, a Ningyo looks nothing like the beautiful fish-tailed woman of Western mythology.
Mm.
They're usually described as strange, human-faced fish with an unsettling appearance.
Yeah, that sounds very unsettling.
It's immediately unsettling,
I'm
actually.
unsettled
Yeah.
already.
Our Western brains cannot.
Nope.
And encountering one is often considered an omen of storms, misfortune, or disaster.
Disaster. Mhm.
I mean, honestly, their relationship with the sea over there
Is
would
a
be
lot.
a lot
I
different.
mean, they have tsunami, like,
Typhoons,
you know, a lot.
like they
Yeah.
have a
They
lot
have a
of
lot. Mhm.
water-related supernatural incidences
yeah,
that
for
happen
sure.
over there. While catching a Ningyo is said to bring bad luck, eating its flesh is believed to grant extraordinary longevity
Hmm.
or even immortality.
Hmm.
Oh, man.
Sure.
Ugh. One
So
famous...
how does that work?
Yeah, I mean,
It's very contradicting. Anyway, yeah.
it's contradicting, and it's also just like, it's like they want to keep you scared enough to not do
To
it.
not do it, but
then if you
also
do it,
it's
there's
fine.
One famous legend tells of Yao Bikuni, a woman who ate Ningyo flesh and lived for hundreds of years, outliving everyone she loved. Unlike Western mermaids, the Ningyo isn't trying to lure you in. Instead, it asks a different question. If you could escape death, would it really be a gift? In Japanese folklore, immortality often comes with a price, reminding us that some things are meant to remain beyond human reach.
Yeah.
And we're not meant to live forever.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's also maybe where the contradicting comes in, because it's supposed to be something that, like, you don't want.
Yeah. Or you're supposed to not want, right? Because there's a price that comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about immortality. There's a lot of negative things that come with that.
Yeah.
Unless everyone else you know also stays
Right.
forever.
I mean, I wouldn't want it to just be me. That sounds boring.
that sounds really sad.
Yeah.
Because you would just meet people over and over again and never get to, like, I don't know. That doesn't sound good.
Oh, like Captain America.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or
Sad.
like Rowan.
Sad.
Yeah. So one of the most powerful water spirits in the world is Mami Wata, whose traditions are found across West and Central Africa. She's often depicted as a strikingly beautiful woman, sometimes with a fishtail, and sometimes accompanied by a large serpent. But unlike many Western mermaids, Mami Wata isn't simply a creature of temptation. She's a powerful spiritual figure associated with healing, prosperity, beauty, fertility, and transformation. Those who encounter her may receive wealth, wisdom, and spiritual gifts, but often only after sacrifice, devotion, or profound personal change. Mami Wata reminds us that water isn't just something to fear. Across many cultures, it's also a source of healing, abundance, and renewal. The ocean can take, but it also can transform, making water a symbol of both danger and possibility.
Yeah. Her story presents water more as something to be like mutually respected.
Yeah, so it calls back to Atrahasis,
Yeah,
right?
our original mermaid.
Right, where she's this powerful being that is not negative, right?
Yeah, she was worshipped.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, with the healing and prosperity, all
Fertility
these things.
too. Yeah.
I think that's it's interesting how it's the only one of our examples that kind of stayed true to that original thought. But it also makes me think of, like, Ursula.
Yeah, a little. Where, like, respect her.
The respect thing.
Or there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's powerful. Make sure we're keeping it in check.
It's just a reflection in my mind of, like, the Western ideals weren't in Africa. So Africa kind of remained true to that initial mermaid being.
Yeah, true. Or it didn't get muddled.
Yeah.
So why did sailors need sea monsters?
Because we see them
over
in every sea.
Every sea.
I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, for most of human history, the ocean was the closest thing people had to outer space as far as, like, what we think of today.
It's a good way to put it because of just the vast
Yeah.
unknown.
And to be honest, it's still kind of like that. We
Yeah.
still have only discovered like this much of it.
Yeah.
So to have all these stories where we don't, that's why I still think they're real, guys. They're still
There's
real.
no proof that they're
No
not.
proof there's not. Yeah. Yeah, so once you sail beyond the horizon, the familiar world disappears. There's no maps of the deep, no satellites, no weather forecast. If a ship vanished, no one knew why, and the mythology had to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, again, putting faces and stories
To help
to
understand.
these unknowns.
Yeah. Sea monsters became explanations for everything people couldn't understand. A sudden storm, a giant sea creature came up from beneath the waves. A shipwreck, something dragged it under. Strange currents, massive whirlpools, entire crews disappearing without a trace. There had to be something out there, and every culture imagined its own version.
Yeah.
In Norse mythology, there was the Kraken, a colossal beast said to rise from the depths and pull entire ships beneath the sea. In the Hebrew Bible, the Leviathan represents the untamable chaos of the ocean, a creature so immense that only God could overcome it. In Norse mythology, again, Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, the Midgard worm, is so enormous that it encircles the entire world, biting its own tail beneath the sea. At Ragnarok, it rises from the ocean to face Thor in one final battle. Across cultures, sailors have also told stories of enormous sea serpents, creatures glimpsed beneath the waves, or mistaken for whales, giant squid, or long stretches of drifting seaweed.
Hmm.
Whether they were real sightings, exaggerated over time, or purely imagined, they all served the same purpose. They gave face to the unknown.
Yeah. I think of the Loch Ness. Think of
Totally.
Nessie here too, right?
I love
It
Nessie.
I just feel like it's just such a common thing to do.
To put a creature in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't an irrational thing. It's just a way to tell a story.
Yeah. And I mean, and humans are storytellers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just, whether it be for our own comfort or as a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The monsters weren't just lurking beneath the waves, they were giving shape to humanity's oldest fears. That beyond the edge of what we know, what we're capable of knowing, something bigger is out there.
When people think of the Little Mermaid, they think of Ariel, red hair, singing fish, Prince Eric, but Disney didn't invent the Little Mermaid.
Nope.
The original story is much stranger, sadder, and more mythological because it was never really a love story to begin with.
Yeah.
So her story was written by Hans Christian Andersen in 1837. And unlike the Brothers Grimm stories, he took inspiration from folklore, but it's not a folkloric record like the Brothers Grimm had
Yeah, made. I mean, I would just say that it's based on a folk concept.
Yes.
More than it is the full story.
Yeah, like he said, okay, I'm going to make a
Transcribed.
story about a mermaid and some of the ideas that go along with her, but not using it as a explanation of what a mermaid is.
Yeah. This is very much his version.
Yeah. So he was a Danish author. So that's an interesting thing to think about when you think of like where,
He's
again,
writing this
Brothers
from.
Grimm to like the connection there. It's pretty
Brothers
closely
Grimm would
related.
be German.
Yeah. And having these same dark stories kind of related is an interesting one.
It's just a very similar time period too.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
perspective-wise.
So the Little Mermaid was 15.
Mm-hmm.
She saves a prince from drowning, and she becomes fascinated with humans. So again, we're still seeing the same kind of story. And she wants to live among them. But she also wants something else too, an immortal soul. Unlike humans, mermaids in Andersen's world lived for 300 years and then dissolved into sea foam. Humans died too, but their souls lived forever. So this isn't a story about romance, but mortality.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting putting it that way, right? Because we're talking about the shoreline as a liminal space. And so in this case, it's between kind of life and death and what happens after.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the Little Mermaid, in order to live amongst the humans, makes this deal with the Sea Witch. And the Sea Witch agrees to help her, but there's a price, of course.
Magic always comes with a price.
Yeah. She must give up her voice. And then every step she takes on land will feel like she's walking on knives.
Again, here's the Brothers Grimm coming in.
So that's a different layer to our Disney version.
Yeah.
And if the prince marries someone else, then she dies.
Oh,
she's gone.
Good.
Yeah.
Mortality tied to a man. That's always good.
Yikes. Yeah. And again, the ending in this story is a lot darker. So the prince does, in fact, marry another woman.
Her sisters try to save her by making a sacrifice. They trade their beautiful hair to the Sea Witch for a magical knife and tell the mermaid that she has to kill the prince and let his blood drip on her feet in order for her to become a mermaid and return home. I forgot about that. Standing over the sleeping prince, she couldn't bring herself to kill him.
Yeah.
Instead, she kisses his forehead, throws the knife into the sea, and she leaps into the sea after it. Rather than simply disappearing, though, she becomes one of the daughters of the air. The other daughters of the air tell her that because she made a selfless choice and had a pure heart, that she was given another opportunity to earn this immortal soul that she's been searching for by spending 300 years doing good deeds for humanity. Every act of kindness shortens the time, while every act of cruelty by humans lengthens it. So her longevity is linked to how humans treat
or respond
to her. Yeah. Yeah. So it becomes like this, again, thing with mortality, right?
Yeah.
Disney didn't just change the ending. It became a whole separate discussion.
Yeah. And I mean, like, how much...
Like, they really dumbed it down. Like, not to make it sound bad, but, like, it's just a totally different...
because I wonder how you show that. I don't know that they can do that with a princess standing with a knife over somebody.
No, I don't think that would go so well.
Yeah. I mean, she literally gave up her voice, her body, her home.
Yeah.
Her almost entire identity
to get this immortal soul that she was searching for, and to get the love of the prince that didn't happen.
Choose her.
Yeah. So it just didn't work out great for her at the end at all. And it's, again, like, she's trying to find this belonging.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard she tries, she just doesn't get there. Again, this is very grimmy feeling because there's no happy ending here, right?
Right. And a step further, it's not like it just doesn't happen. She essentially dies.
Yeah. Yeah, she ends up sacrificing herself in order to get, like, what she wanted, in a way.
What she thought she wanted all along. Yeah.
So, not great. Also, side note, in the Disney movie, did you know that all of the sisters are named after, not Ariel, obviously, but all the other sisters are named after seas?
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
This is my brain is like random trivia fact, everyone.
Well, I did Disney trivia. So I had to name them. Yeah. Because it's one.
And the song in the beginning, I think they sing too.
Exactly.
What's fascinating is that we've never stopped telling mermaid stories. We've just changed how we tell them. In Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, mermaids return to their darker roots. They're beautiful, but they're also predators, using their voice to lure the sailors to their deaths. Yeah.
The TV series Siren takes that idea even further, imagining mermaids not as fairy tale princesses, but as powerful apex predators defending their territory.
Yeah.
Like, they fight off people who approach.
Yeah, I never seen that one, but that sounds good. I kind of like it.
It's interesting.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, H2O, just add water.
Yep.
Oh my God, I heard a girl say, "Oh no, Cleo."
Oh my
At swimming today, a little girl, and I was like,
"So good."
Parent who do you
Mom's
belong
doing
to?
a good
I love
job
her.
there.
Yeah. But so they transform the mermaid into a coming of age fantasy where becoming a mermaid is about friendship, identity, and growing up.
Yeah, such a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also similarly in aquamarine, like
I
we
love
talked about with the
aquamarine with the little starfish earrings.
saying, "Oh, the aquamarine is so beautiful,"
Whispering sweet
basically my
nothings.
daughter.
Where you're like, yeah, it is. So sweet.
I love you so much in the whole world. That's what she says to me.
Gosh. And you're like, yes, stay with me forever.
And then Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. Where not every mer person looks like Ariel,
No.
right? In Harry Potter, the mer people in that Black Lake are really smart and unsettling.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They are closer to the mysterious, otherworldly creatures found in folklore rather than like the saturated Disney version.
Yeah, it makes me think of like the creature of the Black Lagoon. Like
yeah,
that's what
it's an in between. Yeah.
Also, I truly think that that's probably what mermaids really look like.
Yeah, I think so
More
too.
like
That's
the
like
Harry
the
Potter
closest that you
mermaids.
can picture. And this is when they're doing their like Triwizard
Challenge.
Tournament challenge.
It's the second challenge.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think what we see with these examples, though, is that truly every generation has kind of found a way to
reinterpret this idea.
Reinterpret the mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah. Mermaids have survived for thousands of years because they've represented a fantasy humans could never seem to outgrow. The idea that there's a whole nother world existing within our own. One we can glimpse from the shore, imagine from a ship, or dream about beneath the waves, but never fully enter. Every generation creates the mermaid it needs. Sometimes she's a monster, sometimes she's a heroine, sometimes she's a warning, sometimes she's a dream. But beneath every version is the same human question. What lies beyond the edge of what we know?
And maybe that's why we keep returning to these stories. Not because we believe there are mermaids in the ocean.
I mean, I do.
They're probably still there.
I think they are, but yeah.
Why else do we see them everywhere?
Exactly.
If they're not there.
I'm sorry.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Give me the facts.
Concrete evidence that they don't exist.
Yeah. Well, so here's finish what you're saying, and then I will tell you my theory at the end of this.
Yes, please. But because the ocean still reminds us that there are mysteries we haven't solved. So when we stand at the shoreline staring into deep water, are we hoping to discover something? Or are we afraid something has been watching us all along?
So, if mermaids like appear in all different versions, right? There has to be some kind of real explanation. Whether it's actually a mermaid or not is to be seen.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, maybe dinosaurs lived longer than we think they did, and that's why we have dragons.
Yeah, I mean,
because they also come up all over the world in many different versions of things.
And I also think...
I mean, we're imaginative, like humans are imaginative, so I'm not going to take that away. But I also think they have to come from something.
Right.
Like a giant lizard or a woman who's half fish.
I mean, it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, to be honest with you. And I think there's a reason why people even think the Mosasaurus still exists.
Yeah, exactly.
But that it's just like up north, like Greenland, Iceland, Scotland,
somewhere.
Ireland. Like it's up north.
Well, the ocean is like 80% undiscovered.
Right.
How can you tell me that there's no mermaids?
That's what I'm saying. They can't.
Don't crush my hopes and dreams, okay?
Yeah. But also, it like evolutionary even.
Yeah, they're probably
There's
different.
A chance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any evidence, please send it my way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think this is a topic that interests both of us.
Yeah.
I think I love sort of the mystery aspect of like, does it exist? We don't know. Does it not exist?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So it's safe to assume
which usually is something you don't like.
No, but here's the thing. I love the water. I love the ocean. I always have.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's not like a scary place, a scary thing. It's like
well, the unknown part isn't scary to you. It's like interesting.
I'm just like, ooh,
intrigued.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have.
Yeah, sea creatures.
Yep. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.